to you how a psychrometer works, a Sling Psychrometer. This is called a Sling Psychrometer. It helps measure relative humidity. It has two thermometers on it. One is called the dry bulb because it's just a regular thermometer, and the other is considered a wet bulb because it has a little piece of cloth attached to the bottom of it. So the idea is you start with both of these at the same temperature, and right now it is 20 degrees Celsius in the room, which is about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So you put this one, the wet bulb one with the cloth on it, it's called a wick, into water that is room temperature also. Get it saturated, and then you take these two thermometers and you sling them around without getting water all over the place. And you keep doing that for a while until the temperature stops changing on the wet bulb. The wet bulb thermometer's temperature is going to decrease. Psychro means cold and meter means to measure. And so it measures differences in temperature. So this number starts to drop. It's already dropped down to about 16 degrees Celsius. It started at 20. So you keep doing that over and over again until you no longer see a change in the temperature. And so I would keep going and going until it stops, and it stopped changing now at around 16 degrees Celsius. So what you do is you find the difference between these two and then use the chart that I showed you in the lesson for today. What you want to be thinking about is if the air in this room was completely saturated, like 100% humidity, no water would evaporate off of this because the air is already holding as much water vapor as it can. If the air in here is dry, a lot of the water is going to evaporate off of this wet bulb, and the temperature difference is going to be really great, which means that there's very low humidity. Chances are the humidity in here is about 30 or 40%. It's not super humid, but it's going to tell us a lot about what kind of water vapor is already in the air. So again, if this didn't change at all, if there was zero change between these two, that would mean that the air is 100% saturated with humidity, and it would not be able to evaporate anymore off of the wick. So the wick would stay as it is. However, when it starts to drop and keeps dropping, and the more it drops of the temperature on this one, the lower the percent of relative humidity. So that's how a Sling Psychrometer works. You'll work on using the chart to help figure out relative humidity based on the readings between these two thermometers.